Hello friends, today I want to help you understand how to flip real estate. I'm sure you've heard the term flipping real estate, but do you know exactly what it means? Well, by the end of this video, you'll understand the complete process of home flipping, including how to spot great deals, avoid common pitfalls, and how to maximize your return on that investment. When it comes to real estate flipping, have you ever wondered how to make a good profit in a highly competitive industry? And have you ever thought, are there certain secrets to make sure that it's done effectively and efficiently? Well, whether you're a first timer or if you're looking to refine your flipping strategies, this video will equip you with the knowledge to succeed when it comes to flipping real estate. By first explaining how the real estate flipping model works, next I'll cover what type of properties to look for, and finally how to find potential buyers for your flip. If you're ready, let's go. So how does the model of flipping real estate actually work? Broken down to its simplest core, flipping real estate is when somebody comes in and purchases a piece of property with the intent of turning around and selling that property for a profit without utilizing that property for their own use or as a rental. You know, I had a friend recently who just did this strategy in today's market. They went out, they found a piece of property. It was a little bit distressed, right? It needed a little bit of cosmetic work, and this was his field. He was into construction and had done very well in that industry, but he found this piece of property and he bought it below market price by quite a bit. He put a little bit of money into it, a little bit of sweat equity, and in about 3 months after he'd bought it, he turned around and flipped it and made about $70,000 on that flip. I was actually really impressed when he told me about it because I was thinking, man, in today's market, with prices being as high as they are, it might be a little bit more difficult. But that just proved to me that this strategy can work in almost any market during almost any time, but understanding the elements and how to do it correctly is what's key. Now, one of the most important elements when it comes to flipping real estate is this: you need to get the property at a discount. I mean, can you think about any scenario in any world where you go out and you buy a piece of property for almost market value and turn around and sell it for market value? There's no profit to be made there. Now, there have been people, and this has probably ruined them for the rest of their real estate investing career, is where they bought a property in a highly appreciating market, and just because the market was appreciating every single month, they were able to turn around and sell it for a profit without having to do much, without having to negotiate a win-win situation on a good price, or without having to do a little bit of cosmetic or rehab work. They were just in the right place at the right time. But as I mentioned, sometimes doing that can ruin somebody for the rest of their career when it comes to flipping real estate. And there are some that might be able to break through that, but overall, there's a lot more that goes into those elements. So ultimately, that first thing to understand is getting a property at a very low price. Now, if we're looking to do that, there's two elements we got to look at and reasons why you might get a property well below market value, and that's because you'll find a distressed seller or a distressed piece of property. Now, when it comes to a distressed seller, those individuals are distressed, right? They need to sell the property, and that could be for a number of different reasons, anything from they need to move quickly to they're going through a divorce, or their job has asked them to move and the job's willing to pay for expenses and travel to the new location, so they just need to dump the property. However, one of the biggest mistakes people make when they're negotiating or talking with distressed sellers is they're very transactional, right? It's all about the numbers. But a lot of times, if these people are distressed, they're looking for somebody to come in and be a solution to their problem. Their problem is they need to sell the property. And there might be a whole bunch of outlying issues surrounding them selling the property, like they might not have a place to go, they might have moving expenses, they might need storage costs for a period of time. And if you can go in and be a solution and maybe take care of some of those issues that don't cost a ton of money, but in their mind is you going above and beyond, that's when you see deals happen. I mean, think about it. If you were to just pay for somebody's storage for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, what are you looking at? $150 a month? Those are pennies when it comes to providing a solution that allows you to get a home that's normally at this price if all things are the same, and getting it at this price. And obviously a distressed property is just that. We've seen them before. They're run down, they need some work, and some of them might not need a ton of work. Some might have major problems, which I would avoid some of those if it's foundational or something like that. But a distressed property that could use a little bit of fix up, a little bit of cosmetic work, a little bit of cleanup around the yard could be just what the doctor ordered to be able to turn around and sell that property at a much higher price than what you bought it for. So distressed sellers, distressed properties is what's going to allow you to get that property at a low price, because that is key when you're flipping real estate. So what type of properties should you look for when you're flipping flipping real estate. So the first thing you need to look at is the market. What market are you looking in? Now, I know people, I've met people in Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Florida, Texas, California, that are all making money flipping property and real estate. And those are all vastly different markets. So can you make money in any market? You absolutely can. But if you're in a market where there's a demand and people want to be there, or they want to live there, people aren't moving out of those cities, chances are your opportunity for success go up. And one other important element regarding the market is you don't want to be in a place where there's a ton of inventory. Let me explain why. If you buy a piece of property, and even if you get it at a decent price, but there's a ton of inventory on the market, what's going to separate your home from all the other inventory that needs to be sold? Because chances are the only differentiating factor when there's a ton of inventory on the market is usually price. So those that are priced less are going to sell quicker, all things considered. So being in a place that doesn't have a ton of inventory could be the key. Now, there's some things you can do to make your property stand out, but a lot of times in those markets where there's a lot of inventory, usually demand goes down and prices go down, and prices are what get people interested in purchasing when there's a lot of inventory. But even more important than the market is finding properties that are below market value, right? And how do you find those properties? I think that's something that's really important that we need to talk about. And there are a number of different ways you can do this, but here's a handful. Number one, utilizing real estate agents. I love using real estate agents. Many people say, I don't use real estate agents. They just find you properties that their clients own that they bring to you. But if you let them know what you're looking for, and they know that you can be a tool for them for many, many different transactions down the road, they can be a really good friend of yours. I also like utilizing real estate software that helps me find off-market real estate. Probably my favorite one out there is RealFlow. You can put in there the stipulations you're looking for: pre-foreclosure, foreclosure, lien on this, distressed, absentee owner. You can put fields in there that really narrow it down for the type of property you're looking for, to really give you a list of distressed properties that then you can reach out to the owners that are off-market and see if they'd be willing to sell it. Another one is driving for dollars. Driving for dollars is a strategy where you're driving around, you see a piece of property that looks a little bit run down in an area that's typically traditionally pretty nice, and you approach that door and go ask those people if they're willing to sell their home. Now, if they might not be home, a strategy that I've seen work well is go to the neighbors to say, listen, do you know if so-and-so's home? I'm actually a real estate investor looking to buy that home. Now, the neighbor might get excited because they've seen that home next to theirs and they might consider it run down or a dive. So they'd be really excited to see somebody come in and make that property look that much better. And a lot of times they'll give you more information than you're actually looking for. And the final strategy to find some of these properties is utilizing call centers. There's a lot of them out there that they have people even overseas that all they do is call on off-market properties to see if people are willing to sell those properties. And they'll even go through a series of questions. So when they hand it over to you, you've got something that you can then contact that potential seller and negotiate. Now, they don't do all the work for you, right? You've got to be able to have some skill and to be able to negotiate that, creating win-win situations, but they do provide leads for you. And it does cost money for a lot of these different ways to find properties. But many times, if you find the one that works for you, it is well worth the price. Now that we understand the idea behind flipping properties, we understand that we need to get it at a good price, and we understand how to find these properties, let's talk about how we find investors to potentially fund this business of ours. The first one I always say is personal contacts. If you have somebody that knows, likes, and trusts you, and they believe in you, it could be a relative, family member, associate, somebody you work with, chances are that's going to be your best bet. And I would say most people probably know an individual that has a significant amount of money that might be interested in funding this type of deal, as long as everything is beneficial for them. They're looking to make a return. They're looking to have their money secured. They might be looking for you to put some skin in the game. They might be looking to you to come back with comps on a property that you get under contract, showing that all properties around there are definitely listed or valued at much higher than the price you have it under contract for. So those are things to consider when you're looking to find any investor, but especially if it's a personal contact of yours. But that isn't the only way. Another one that I've seen that's actually growing is using digital platforms. And there's a handful of digital platforms out there where you can find potential investors to do things like this. But one of the hidden gems out there is Facebook. Now, I know that sounds weird. If you've been in real estate investing for a while, you know how important Facebook groups are for real estate investing. I mean, they really dial in the niche for the specific market or type of real estate investing that you want to do. They have niches in Facebook groups for somebody looking just to do contract flipping, or somebody just looking to do wholesaling, or somebody doing fix and flip. But I've seen so many times on Facebook where I've been on there and I'll see a post come up that says, hey, I'm this person, I've got this property and I am looking for an investor to come and help me execute on this strategy. And I will see, tens of comments. I'll see 40, 50, 60 comments on that one post of people that are interested. And it was really amazing to me when I saw this because I thought, man, I doubt these people know this individual. But the thing about real estate that's really important to consider is it is transactional in nature, right? And everything is pretty secure. I mean, the property is recorded, it is documented, there is a real estate contract. And so out of all the investments out there, real estate investing is probably one of the most secure ones out there. So would a stranger be willing to fund a deal? Yes, if all things made sense, if the deal was good, and if they could have it secured with a contract and a deed in hand, that is potentially a good way to make it all work and a great way to find potential investors for your real estate flipping business. So these are the elements that I've seen that are really important when it comes to flipping real estate, from getting them at good prices, looking for the right piece of property, finding investors. But I'd be interested in your feedback. Please comment, let's have a discussion, engage in a dialogue. And as always, just for stopping by and watching the video, I've got a free gift for you just on the link below, aaronsfreetraining.com. It is a short-term rental calculator where you put in the purchase price, the income, the expenses, and it'll spit out to you whether it's a good deal or not. And it's 100% free, no obligation. Just click on that link below, aaronsfreetraining.com. And once again, I appreciate you stopping by. Have an amazing day.